Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? I can't hear me. I hate this setup. This is stupid. What the hell am I even doing? I'm so mad at this shit today. Can everybody hear me okay? Everything sounds like it's coming alright. Holy crap, I hate my computer sometimes. And my internet. Everything sometimes just goes nuts. Now my internet provider came and they brought me a new cable modem today because mine apparently runs on an older technology and can't receive the speed that the new ones can. So bring me a new one and test my signal. Oh, there's something wrong with your signal. I'm not sure if replacing your modem's gonna help. Oh, awesome. Cool, glad you came out here. There'll be a truck out to fix the lines. Haven't seen a truck, so I'm expecting a truck to come possibly cut off the internet to half my road. So hey guys, if you guys lose me, I probably won't be back. I don't know what's going on with my internet, but I'm trying to do the best I can. So far so good tonight. I think my connection's better because I'm not having like a lag problem on my end, and I noticed on the watch screen I don't have the circles going, so I'm hoping everybody gets a good transmission. Everybody in there doing good? Who do we have? We have the Death Hyrulkin. And Rajin. And that's it so far. That's okay. I ignore the bots. Oh, and Dark Sasuke. How did I forget about you? I know you said something. There you are. You're right there. Dark Sasuke. Can't forget to say hi to you. One of my first subscribers. Alright, here's how it works for anybody new in the chat. If you don't have a wrench, the easy way to get one is to ask my bot for a way to get hold of me. And come on the show. So, with that being said, we have a show. Welcome to the show. It is my show. This is the Great Debate. It's a little screwed up today because I messed up some settings and I couldn't get everything back in time, so I just tried to make it work for today. And I am working on something new, but again, Windows, pain in the ass, had an update last week. I'm working on trying to get all that to work properly. They changed something about the audio settings, and the way the audio settings connect into OBS changed a little bit. So it's like, I was explaining to the guy doing my internet today, it's like connecting a wire on the coax before it goes into the box that's supposed to do the signal. So instead of collecting the signal that I'm trying to broadcast out, it's collecting the signal as it's going into what I'm trying to broadcast out from. So the settings are a little backwards. I've been messing with everything for 2 days, so much so that I deleted and rebooted my OBS. I tried to save the schematic of what I had set up, but apparently I saved the wrong section. So I saved the settings, not my show, and I've just been all screwed up from there. Oh, we got Unwanted Reaper in the chat. How are you doing? Been a while, but hey, I made a show. Well, I do the one on Monday mornings, and I do the 2 in the evening now. And it's, well, Reaper, you know this. It's because it's too nice outside to sit behind this screen when the sun's shining through the window. What am I supposed to do? Am I supposed to ignore the beautiful day outside and work in here? Okay, for a little while. When it rains, I put a lot of effort in. But, I'm great, mate. Summer full blast. I know, you've been out there having a blast from what couple pictures I've seen. Sunny days, red shoulders, that kind of thing. I've been fixing my back lawn, trying to get grass to grow, fix the back hill, restack the rock wall. I got a garage sale going on this weekend. I've got a lot going, and the nice weather helps out a lot. You know what else I got going? And I'm distracted, mind you, barely, but still distracted. I have a show, and this is what we're going to do. We're going to see if I set this up properly. I didn't.
Welcome to the Great Debate.
Somewhere. There it is. Shit. All right. To the newcomers, and the regulars, why not? Here is the board. On this board, there are 18 topics. Underneath of these topics is a question or a comment, and it's meant to start the discussion. It's not meant to argue over. Everybody who comes into the game has their own perspective. I don't have anybody on the game today because I spent a lot of time trying to fix things and didn't get to anything else. And I don't have anything open right now because I didn't have time. But we'll see how this works as I go. I do most of these alone anyway, so why not just take it to board? Now what we do is we let the chat choose. And please feel free to throw in anything you got. Garage sale, any video games, Numbed. I'm a shitman. Dewey, you and I are gonna talk. I don't sell my games. But just for that comment, you're going to get like 140 pictures from me of all of the games that I own to make you drool a little. And Death Heidelken comes in with movies. Are all actors and actresses all equal? Wow, that was redundant. Alright. You guys have... Yeah, I don't collect like that. I have, all in all, probably a little over 200 games, but I also have like 200 DVDs and like 400 CDs. Maybe I have 300 DVDs. I'm not even sure. I have a lot of shit, and it's a lot. By law, yes. Inability, no. Here's a question, and it's semi-hot topic, semi-not-hot topic. Should men and women be paid equally for the movies they're on? No, I've thought long about this. Obviously, there's been a lot of articles in the news, and off the top of my head right now, I just can't cite them. But we've all heard articles about the actress who was only paid, who was only paid, like $1 a day or something like that, and the actor that was paid, $100,000 or whatever the hell it was. I don't care. We hear these stories where there's inequality, and this is kind of, and written wrong, a bad question. It's too open. Obviously, there's a word I'm thinking of and I can't think of. It's not a hypocrite. I can't talk. What's the word for a question that it doesn't want an answer? I'm thinking hypocrisy, but I know that's fucking... I know it's flat out wrong, so I don't even know why I'm thinking it. No, I'm crazy. I'll go with I'm crazy. I like boobs and nips. Those are great, but they're not allowed on movies. Also, set up the timekeeper is here. Oh, yes, the timekeeper. How are you doing? It's a state. No, this is a question. I think a general way to try and equal this out would be to have classes of actors. So obviously your highest paid actor and actress would have like a class A, and it could go down as far as they need to. And each of these classes, based on whatever movie you're in, would have a pay scale. So Z would immediately become low-end extras, and A would immediately become the highest paid person. So if you're a single-star movie, you're an A. If you're a co-star movie, you're a B. If you're a 3-star movie, you're a C. And then if you're a backup star, you're a D, E, or an F, assigned accordingly. And then you can end this fight to you're not paid properly or this or that. You basically get into a fight of being a certain character actor. So are you a level A being paid top notch? If you are, that's only according to this one movie, but you're equally paid with anybody else that's classed at that level in this script. And then when you're hired, you're told you're at that level. Fuck it, then lay on your backs. Awesome. Did you hear about the NFL taking action now about the players taking a knee? Really? No. That's how much I care about football. It bothers me that this is a problem, because obviously we all see actors have different qualities, different abilities, different diversity between movies. Let me get back in front of my mic here so I actually feel like I'm running a show. they have different they have a different way they do movies, and each actor and actress is different, and they're paid based on their abilities and how well they perform in the movie. So how do you classify that? Can you make 26 character level roles for a video and then assign actors and actresses a character level with their character? Oh, you're playing one of the three main characters. You're all being paid on our script according to level C, and we have one guy coming in on level A. He'll be here for a 15-second cameo. You got to break down how it's going to work. I mean, obviously, if you want equality, the best way to do this is assign a rating system separate from the people who you're planning to hire. Or you assign the system based on the way the movie is structured and the way you intend the roles to carry out through the video. Not necessarily about screen time, but maybe about importance. Sub-characters or a lesser-known character could be ranked lower. And then you hire the person to fill that role, and that role pays X number of dollars. It's no more a negotiable contract. Get rid of the fucking managers. Well, I guess you'd still need a manager to try and get you into the job. I need to take a sip of this alcoholic beverage. Bear with me. I've had a few of these. They're good. Cheap rum and coke. Tumbler cats. No. If they're equal in ability, experience, and contribution, then yes. Well, think about it this way. When you hire for a movie, you're looking for a main character to play a role that's going to draw in the audience. And then, of course, you need side characters to explain the story format and everything going on. If you assign to this movie character roles, and then you decide that 2 stars are going to have equal hold in the movie, that they're going to be well seen and you want prominent figures, then you offer that out to the managers who are trying to find parts for their actors, and you say, listen, I've got a level A role. I'm looking for somebody, high class that's going to bring me the image. I got 3 level C roles. They're going to be the main characters for the most part of the movie. I've got, 15 level E roles. And then you break it down like that and show them, what you want in each role, what they're going to do, screen time, all of that shit. And offer it up to the managers like that to bring people in. Shut the fuck up, Boris. Awesome. I do when it's your bedtime. Time's up. The angry hitman smirks. What are we gonna do next, guys? It's a small amount of guys and girls. Thank you. But what is next? Dun, 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 dun. We're moving along, Ryder. Why don't you pick something for us? Let's go old school. I'm gonna take Reaper. I'll get you on the next one. We'll take. Wait. How you looking? Didn't you pick the last one? I don't know. What do I do? I'll click transportation. We'll do sex next. What are the benefits and downfalls to high-speed transportation? Well, I have a few comments about this. So, I'm not... Let me move that a little bit. I'm not shy to let people know that I watch Thunderfoot. Now, I prefer Thunderfoot's videos that are more scientific and they explain why or why not things will or will not work, depending on what the circumstances are, from movies and newspapers and stuff like that. One of his that I'm thoroughly intrigued by is these new underground tunnels that what's his name from Tesla wants to build. And these underground tunnels are supposed to be a few miles long underneath Los Angeles to help underneath the subways to lower and lift cars and do all this cool funky stuff. And it's something like, they'll travel up to 800 miles per hour, but you got 3 miles. To get to 800 miles per hour, how long would that take? By time you got to half that speed, you'd be slowing down already. So what's the point in traveling that fast? Also, a lot of people don't know this, but to increase speed at high velocity without some way of dampening the impact of the passenger, you're gonna feel that. Age slower when traveling faster. Only when you travel closer to the speed of light. Downfalls, expense, maintenance, environmental damage, impracticality, benefits, lower damage over time, mass transit, quick replace cars, faster travel. You want to know something? I've thought about this, and there's a few ways to make this better. Now, there's a common thought going around, mostly on the West Coast, that people aren't going to own their own cars in a few years. What it's going to be is a series of like rentals, where you click a button and a car pulls up out in front of your house, you get in and go where you got to go. Some people, obviously those with money or those that have jobs or do things, are going to need certain vehicles, trucks, and things to haul whatnot around. But I see in large cities, you're going to start getting pre-programmed cars that are computer driven, that are going to pick people up and take them to your destination, that are going to charge relatively low fares, but they're going to get a lot of repeat customers. These cars will probably be the most efficient because eventually they'll start to take up one lane in all of these large city areas, and that one lane will be manageable because they'll all be controlled by robots, which means that lane on every road almost would be the quickest lane. So people driving would be able to go 55, but if you're in the machine, you can do 55, but it's not going to slow down for a cat or a squirrel like a little old lady will doing 40 and a 55. So you have to think it's going to take out the variables that increase the amount of time it takes to make a trip. And that's about what the impact of the electric and programmed cars are. Now, doing this underground, probably a damn good idea. If you're going to travel large distances across, cool. What they need to do is, if you're going to do something like that, you take parallel subway lines that run through the city, and you manipulate these parallel subway lines to run individual pre-programmed electric cars, so that a person can be put in the car, input the destination the next stop is, they move to the next destination, they get off the car, somebody else gets in it and moves. No. What's no? Sound barrier just a few hundred miles an hour. Is that sound barrier is just a few hundred miles an hour? Yes, there's no way they're even going to get close to the sound barrier. I think the impracticality of trying to make mass trains or large underground systems on top of or beneath, for the current context of what we have, the problem is going to come that you're going to interfere with structural stability of things above, especially in California. We already have existing tunnels that travel these distances. The problem is we have trains that run on set time schedules, and when you're waiting for something, crowds build. If there were thousands, and this would almost pay for itself, but not, they would definitely have to raise the cost. There would be all sorts of complications. Travel situation solved. Next topic. No, I still got over a minute. Nuclear fission rockets. Welcome, Linugs, to the chat. Enjoy yourself. If you made it in a car system, let's say you made smaller rails than what the subways are, and each car held so many people, and that car could be set for a stop destination. All the tracks were rounded out, the cars were electronic, and they could be called to the next person. You eliminate some of the delay of waiting for a train. On congested days, you can either release extra cars, or you can almost increase the speed of the cars. They'd be smaller. They'd be able to take the impact of slowing down easier. There's a whole bunch of improvements that can be made by making the system smaller and yet keeping the system we have. I don't know why he's not just trying to retrofit things to move faster and work better on their own. a smaller device. Multiple smaller devices would work much more efficiently than a train if the train wasn't in the way to slow it down. Does this make sense, guys, or am I just talking out my ass? I'm not a billionaire smart guy. His idea makes some sense. He's way overthinking it. Way overthinking it. Take what we have. We have subways. Round out the tracks. Make the cars smaller. Make them programmable. Make them so they run on their own. They're on a set track. They can go and stop on their own. They can sense the cars in front and behind them. They receive power from the track. Somebody gets in, hits the button for the stop that they're going. They get to the stop, they get out. It refreshes. Somebody gets in, hits the button. It goes around the track. This system is full. It could be fully automated. We could do it with what we have, and it would cost a fraction of what he's talking about. Copyright pending. We're supposed to talk about sex next. I remember. Here we go, folks. Fuck you, Scobot. That's right. That's right. This is a hard one. Is an orgasm a commodity? I remember. You remember? I remember. I remember. We took our jobs. This is back to the topic. No, it's not a commodity. I have a question. Have you ever, they say this is bad. Some people say this is bad these days. But have you ever taken your wife or girlfriend out and treated them to a special evening, knowing that if you got them all buttered up just right, that you're going to get a piece if you weren't already going to get a piece? You do that as like a bargaining chip, so it's a commodity. It's only natural that we as a species have found a way to trade sex or the ability to have an orgasm with somebody or in somebody, however the case may be, for some sort of monetary or reward system. Hey, look, this should have been a reward. To what point should we restrict or warrant the ability for somebody to monetize, capitalize, or otherwise gain on something they can provide for someone else just because it involves their body? Now, at the same time, no, if we're going to pay for government health care, then I don't think prostitution should be legal. So I don't want to pay for everybody's, possibly aborted babies. It gets very, very complicated when you get outside the simple generic questions. So let's not let my mind wander into anywhere it doesn't need to go. I do think that it is, and I can't think of a situation, even with a wife, where I haven't traded one way of getting off for another way. And you guys sometimes know what I mean. I want this, what do you want? And you work something out. It's a commodity, it's a trade, and it's an exchange. Do you want to play yes or no? When you fuck around, your intent is for both of you to enjoy it. If only one of you enjoys it, the other one's usually unhappy. The deal was broken. You both didn't get your commodity out of the deal, so one of you got soured. Press 1 if you had a turn on the board, or if they picked your topic already. What do I got left? I got a little over a minute. Would anybody in the chat, if given the opportunity to be paid to pleasure somebody or allow themselves to pleasure themselves with you, wouldn't you take it if it was the right amount? I mean, you want 15 minutes for $1,000? half an hour for 1,500. I'm game. I can do that. I'll take a couple $100 an hour, wrap it up, and go. So, prostitute or porn star? I'll do both. How much are you paying me? Shit, my wife's walking in. Where to go from here? Can anybody tell me where you couldn't think that it could have been turned into a commodity to enjoy yourself? Man, I don't really like the idea of paying. Even if you don't pay, you pay. You buy dinner, you pay. You brought dinner over, you cooked, you used your time and labor. And that goes both ways. I'm not saying just men or just women. I'm saying both. Both do this. Women, they sell themselves as a commodity sometimes. They paint themselves up. They wrap themselves, and I say this metaphorically. I don't say this quite literally, semi-literally. They present themselves most of the time in a manner to sell themselves. Even my wife, she dolls up to sell herself for the evening. I want to enjoy myself kind of thing, or I'm going to make sure you enjoy yourself kind of thing, depending on what she wears. You get more than one turn. It's a balanced trade system. So whenever I try to simplify it in my head to how do I think about sex, I always end up coming out with some sort of balanced trade system back and forth. And in coming up with that, I can't come up with an argument against prostitution. I can come out with arguments to help make it safer. I can come out with arguments to identify and help those who need it, but I can't come up with an argument against prostitution when I find sex is a commodity. It is something that you give and take in exchange. So, am I off base here? This is just my practical thought of the situation. It's a commodity. You trade either time or effort or something for the commodity, the enjoyment. Now, one person may pay more or the other may pay more, but, when you stop and think about it, it could be equal. The division of the sexes could be as simple as balancing out the differences between what effort is put in where. And then not discussing perceived effort, because that would take me all day. Oh, let me stretch real quick. Oh, I'm going to break my chair. What are we going to talk about now? I'm just keeping time. Oh, you guys know each other? That's awesome. All right, what's next, fellas? Fellas, what are we doing, fellas? We've got 15, because I can math. Let me get another drink while we're looking at your chat. Fine chat we got going on here. Not sure how many people are actually here. Yeah, I am. 1, skip the bot. Skip me. 2, skip the bot. 3, 4. There's 4 of you here, even though it says 7. Yeah, I skip myself. And then I drink. TV or games. Rewards was first. We're going with rewards. What rewards does unlimited access to the sum of the internet give someone? Oh shit, this is a bad question. But we'll go with it! You can always pick malevolent, right not? Porn! What rewards? Would porn be a reward? If you don't pay for it, it's not a reward. It's not an equal transaction. End porn. Entertainment porn, communication, information. I'm constantly trying to decipher at what cost do you expose yourself to information. So my neighbor, who's a little older than I am, and I've talked about him once in a while, I discuss some of the topics I do on my show with him, and in discussing topics with him, his comment sometime is, I didn't know that, I'm going to have to check it out next time I'm at the library, because he doesn't use the internet. Now, the weird thing is, I thought about that. If you're going to go to the library to look something up, what are you going to find in the library? You're going to find a book. And that book is going to be more specified on the item you're looking for. In fact, you may find a particular book that gives you all the information about that specific item that would help you learn. Maybe it's concise. At the same time, the internet is a library. It's a much larger library. And when you go looking for the contents of what you're looking for, the problem is that the library is so large and access to all the information on it is so large that you're inevitably going to come up with items that you're not searching for. You're also going to come up with items that are misleading. And there's a new phenomenon that not a lot of people are aware of, where maybe a lot of more people than I think are aware of it, where your search terms are not based on the relevancy necessarily of the search that you're doing, but they're more sometimes based on how appropriate an algorithm believes that search is to the terms you're looking for based on your previous searches and other information that's been searched and allowed on the internet. It looks unlimited and lost its value and holds no reward. For someone else I met. Oh, I got it. I got its uses, but I don't look at it as rewarding. If I want to look up what do I do for a bee sting, well, first of all, if you're an adult and you don't know what to do for a bee sting, it's what? Baking soda and water? Draw out the stinger, and then ice. So, look that up on the internet. You can get information, maybe other ways of doing it. I think toothpaste is a good recommended item. It's about the drying method in the toothpaste. There's other things, sometimes salt, but that one stings. The internet has all this information where if you didn't learn it or you don't have access to the library, then you don't have that information. You can't just ask a smart device because that smart device gets it from the internet. So it has a reward. And the reward is the ability to find what you're looking for in relatively quick time and have access at your fingertips to these items when you want them. And on the other hand, the downfall. When you go looking for things, you inevitably find or run across things that you don't mean to be looking for, and you get exposed to some shit that kind of puts you off. Pull the stinger and moisten the baby aspirin on the wound. It will help to draw the toxin. See, I always was told baking soda and water, it draws out the toxin as it dries. In addition to the varied information, there's the access for learning. I've watched a lot of how-to videos, and has anybody encountered those how-to videos that are almost perfect, but they really don't help you? It's, look, put this here, look, do this, hey, check out what this does. I like the ones that give you the details and explain what the part is and, sometimes how the part works. Different people like different things get seen. The algorithm goes to prefer items that are seen more because they're simpler, but they might not be detailed, so that makes it harder to find the details that you're looking for. That varied and expansive information that you, as a reward, have access to, also on the downfall, is going to give you stuff that you're not looking for, and it's not always going to answer your questions. Who's gone to a forum and gone, I've got this bolt right here. I don't know what grade this bolt is. Waited a few hours, no response. You need to finish what you're doing. What the fuck am I supposed to do? Let me go down to the hardware store. I'll just get a grade 5, which costs you extra money. You could have saved my bad example because a bolt's only a couple bucks. But still, you guys know what I mean. What are you supposed to do? Figure it out from there. Sometimes you got to use a grade 1 bolt. Certain bolts overheat too fast, and then they shear instead of snapping wrong. There's all sorts of problems you run into. These things you don't know unless you learn properly. If I didn't... To expel my phrase, you don't know what you don't know. And on the internet, you quickly learn what you didn't know about. And it's not always the best stuff that you wanted to learn. I gotta stop moving around. This mic doesn't pick me up when I'm moving around. Alright. I think it's about time for me to click out of here before someone says something about... What? Is there a timer? Where's my timer? Oh, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Time's up. Time's up. Move on now. Malevolent wants to clear a row. I think we're going to invite Malevolent back on for Friday. How does that sound, Malevolent? Then you can come on and control the board for a day. TV! Are we trying to play bingo? Does what you see on television shows affect how you think about things? You weren't a guest? We're going to fix that. I swear I have a setup for you to be on as a guest. Yes, TV shows affect you. Nightbot says no, they don't. Nothing affects Nightbot. Just keep swearing at him. He'll be fine. I saw Doc Griffin. Welcome to the chat. How are you doing? I half pay attention to the names. I try to make sure I look at the comments, especially when I'm on here by myself. I have to say, a few things... I can't unless I ask my mom. A few things tend to set me off in television shows. When I sometimes see certain characterizations done and they feel forced into the show. They feel like they were pushed more than they were more than they kind of set into the role. It feels like it was a pushed character, that somebody's filling that role because they had to, not because they wanted to. They didn't... Everybody kind of knows what I mean. You've seen the movies where some people just don't play the role entirely well. They don't make it feel like they were meant. And I see this on television, and sometimes I see it come out in actors who get a little complacent. I'll say I sort of saw this in a couple aspects on the Roseanne show. I only saw like part of one episode. I also want to say that idea to push certain lines into more television shows, well, I think it's good to show the experience. At what point do we want to stop and think? Now, nobody take this the wrong way. I have an inherent belief that some of the things that we're exposed to in life develop the type of person we are. So when you learn something, you're exposed to something, it changes your knowledge. When you see or do something, it changes your experience. And if you see or hear or are portrayed something in a television show, it might not necessarily affect you on on any layer that you think about. Sometimes, mostly me, because I can't stop thinking about what I see and whether it would be there or not for the conversations that are being had and the people having and pushing these conversations. And I wonder, how does this affect other people? Do other people... Not everybody's going to sit and watch a show, and instead of watching the show for the show, they're going to sit there and question, why was it put like this? Is this what people are looking for? Is this a good portrayal? Is this something I have to say, this is what's happening? Is this right or wrong? I'm questioning. I'm constantly looking and evaluating and questioning things. So is what I see affecting people? So when I say that, I don't necessarily mean is it affecting you by forcing you to question everything you see and hear in that and other television shows? If that's the case, then you're somewhere along the lines I am, where everything you watch that's portrayed on any type of broadcast network or anything, you're looking at the roles and the parts to see, do these fit in? Does it feel like this was included because it's a part of the character, or was this included because it was pushed to be in the role? is this important to the story they're telling me? Do I care? If I never see a character with a girl, do I care if she's a lesbian? If I never see a guy with a guy, do I care if he's gay? If there's no story plot that adapts into that or has anything to do with it, does it matter? Sometimes the shadow of not knowing is better. Sometimes to hint at something and never quite go at it is the best way to do things. Maybe that's where we should have started on this non-binary trans SJW world. Don't push right at it and say, this is what we're going to do. We want this, we want this, we want this. And while we're at it, give us a couple $1 million and put your hands up. Okay, I went a little far there. What was I saying? Yeah. So, shows when I was a kid. Fighting shows. My kids do it, even though I yell at them for it. Jump around and, karate chop, ha, hua, kind of thing. TV does affect you. It doesn't necessarily affect your decision making, but the things you see portrayed and how they're handled do affect younger people. And then as you get older, hopefully, certainly most people, I'm not alone, I hope, sit there and question the reasoning why and whether it's the right amount, or is it too much or too little, or do we need to discuss this, or does it need to be more of a point, or does it need to be what is the outcome of what we're seeing and how do we feel about it, kind of thing. And when I look at these different topics, I'm constantly questioning them. So if I see a boy in a dress, what is he trying to portray? Instead of thinking, oh, that's okay, I'm thinking, what is he trying to fill in? Is there a reason he's in the show with a dress? Are we trying to believe that he's girl? You have to explain this to me. Give me something to understand, because this isn't normal. I know this is being pushed for, so how are you making this settle well with people? That kind of thing. I'm constantly trying to figure out what the motive or perspective of the person who's trying to portray this aspect is putting across, and see if it's something that is agreed with or disagreed with based on how well it's done and what they were trying to achieve. And if something feels like it settles well and it doesn't hurt or change the way the story is by adding it into a character, that doesn't make it good. It actually should almost always build to a part of who the character is, and not so much at what the character does around being a character. Because to most of us, it's not about who plays the movie or how they play the movie. It's about what happened and how well that happened throughout the movie. Right? Ramble? Somebody tell me what I'm doing. Am I just rambling? I'm just rambling. We'll move on. What do we got? I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think we're going to do one more. After this, you're watching the WWE. After this, I am mixing myself another drink. I'm going to go have a cigarette, and I'm going to maybe sit in the hammock for 15 or 20 minutes before I go to bed. No row. It's hard to get a row. Unless you do column. No. It would be a row across. The column would be up and down. So you could do a row. You could pull a row off. What are you doing? You could pull off 2 rows right here. Wait. See? Now you're understanding. Oh, Ryder didn't want to pick again. Anybody else want to pick? Anybody? Going once. We got you in the left-hand corner with a sign up on number 11. You got somebody in the left-hand corner with a sign on number 12. We got anybody in the corner? I'm falling asleep, so yeah, I'll say goodbye while you round up the last bit. Have yourself a fine evening, and thank you so much for coming, Reaper. I really appreciate it, if nothing else. School! I'll take the first thing I see. I'm ignoring who said it. Does acknowledging participation with an award or trophy build confidence in a student? I've had a question very similar to this, but it was worded in the opposite direction. if you are one of 20 people trying to do something, and every one of those 20 people received an award, is that award worth anything? Maybe not amongst those 20 individuals. But if those 20 individuals were the only 20 that decided to join the band, and those 20 individuals got an award for staying in band for the entire year, then that award, not necessarily a trophy, would be something more of a certificate of appreciation to the rest of us, or a certificate of accomplishment, or a certificate of completion, something like that. Instead of doing that, they stopped writing certificate of and just wrote award for. Is this really a bad thing? I mean, I believe certificate of achievement was good enough. I've got a lot of them. I've got tons of certificates of achievement. All they tell me is what have I achieved, what have I managed to do. I also have awards. Most of them are ribbons. They tell me what I've been awarded for being good at. Somewhere I've got a trophy or two. Not too many. I think I got one somewhere if it's not broken. And that tells me what I'm one of the best at in the group I participated in. So I can't sit here and look at this and say giving everybody a participation award is bad. So long as I'm understanding the context of participation award. Did somebody get an award for winning? Was it an award for participation, or was it an award for completion? So if somebody joined halfway through, do they get the same award as the people who went the whole program? How do you judge this? If the award is a piece of paper, I don't see a huge problem with it, because in my mind that paper says certificate of achievement. And I'm sure everybody else in here kind of understands what a certificate of achievement is. Hey, you completed a semester of college. Here's your certificate of achievement. Get like 6 more of those, maybe 7, and we'll give you a degree for doing something. You get an award. Here's your degree. That's your award for completing so many. Now, I got ribbons. I got a ribbon for 8th place in something. That made no sense to me when I was at the age I got the ribbon. But is that very different than giving everybody an award? Now, I don't know how the awards are necessarily given, and this is being generic, obviously. But if you hand everybody an award, let's say a ribbon, they're all different colors. There's different numbers on the back. The person who did the best gets the award that has the 1, and then the 2 for the next best, and 3, and so on and so forth. And, well, you got 10 people and you have 10 place awards. Cool, they all get an award. But each award designates where they fell and what place they fell in the event, or how they participate, something along those lines. I can agree with that, as long as it shows how they achieved in the struggle. Because that kind of shows who you are. Yeah, I've got 7th and 8th place ribbons. I got 1st and 2nd place ribbons. I've got a variety of them. It shows that I'm nowhere near perfect, but I'm more than willing to get in there and give things a shot. What do we got? Sounds like SpongeBob episode. Patrick tries to be SpongeBob, who has 100,000 trophies, but the award Patrick got for the end was the best to absolutely nothing. Please watch that SpongeBob episode. I'll possibly get on that. I'd hate to say this. This is going to turn off some fans. Oh! I don't like SpongeBob. I don't like how Upward Sports, their slogan is everybody is a winner. Even if your team lost, you still get an award for winning. What happened to losing or trying harder? Next time. If you have two football teams playing and you give the losing team second place ribbons, is that okay? Is that too condescending? It feels condescending to me. Can I do that? Can I give the losers second place ribbons? I don't think being rewarded for participation is necessarily bad. I, however, don't think that in a competition of any sort, those on all sides of the competition should be equally rewarded for their participation upon the completion. Somebody should have a you did better than others to, one, give the people who did well the acclaim for doing well, for putting the effort in, for being naturally good at something. It doesn't matter. You naturally have long ass legs and you ran track. Good job. You came in first place. Here's your award. You deserve it. You came in third place, here's your award. You came in fourth, here's your ribbon, so on and so forth. If you're doing something where you're competing, the loser can get a certificate of participation. I'm perfect with that. An award for participating. Something along those lines. Not equal to that of those who put in the extra effort, maybe. Extra time, maybe. Or just had that much more drive to do better than you. Maybe next time you should have the drive to do better. To give everybody equal awards for equal participation when you didn't do equal things. It just isn't right. We did not clear a row. Let's take a look. No clear of rows, no cleared columns, nothing. Nothing. Is that what does it? That's what does it. I'm going to have to fix all this. It's confusing me. How is everybody tonight? I've got a couple minutes and my end screen is broken. We'll call it broken. I screwed it up. You've watched for an hour and gained 63 bones. Good job, Malevolent Rider. It's good to hear that you're good. I love picking on you about keeping the time. Did you notice anything about today's show? Did you? Did you, punk? Wow, 18 hours. Holy shit. You didn't notice? Oh, it'll give you a reason to be here Friday. You'll probably be here Friday anyways, but it'll make you pay attention harder. And you were watching the timer. I'm not going to touch anything. No, we can't do a new topic. I've only got a couple of minutes. There's not enough time. I'm telling you. I know there's not enough time. If you paid better attention during the show, you'd understand why. Yes, you did see it. There's no time yet. I'm sorry, Dewey. Dewey, it's not going to happen. I'm asking new topic. No, we're not. Oh, no, I didn't do a new topic today. We did the new topic today. I'm thinking about another new topic, but I said that a couple months ago and then never changed them. So we'll see what happens from here. Anybody else? Was it a Timmer? What's a Timmer? I'm not sure what you're saying. We'll get back to you here. Anybody else got anything to say before I get out of here? It was something to do with the timer. It really was. And you will find out next time here on The Great Debate. We're going to, I guess, cut 2 minutes early. It's a small show anyway. What do I care? Face reveal? I can say I have not made anywhere near enough off of this hobby for me to for me to reveal my face. Sorry, Dewey. Yeah, it said time's up. It said time's up the whole time. You'll figure it out next time, Ryder. You'll figure it out. Watch a couple old shows, and then watch today's show, and then come back to me on Friday. Or watch Friday's show, and then tell me what you think it is. Also, if you know anybody that wants to be a guest, hit me up. The link says always or, well, everywhere. And nowhere all at once, because the internet is all imaginary. And I don't have my outro screen. It's blank. So what we'll do is I'll go to this screen and tell you that I run the Great Debate. It is a game show. It is a conversation. Don't want to argue. Just want to chat. Tell me about things from your perspective. Come on by sometime. Enjoy the show. There's some buttons you can hit on the way out. Make sure you slap every button you want to slap. Enjoy yourselves. Everybody have a fine evening, and I will return at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Friday night for the Great Debate. And we have some outro music.